Welcome to episode 11 of the Ringo Report. I'm your host, Brandon Ringo. Thank you so much for joining me. There's been a lot going on in the world of the Little Rock hardcore scene and metal scene, and the Central Arkansas music scene in general has been just absolutely bustling lately. Every night in town, there's been shows happening in multiple places and multiple packed rooms, and it's a very good time to be involved in the music scene here. And so this week specifically, I want to get into the show calendar because there's a lot of cool stuff happening. Tonight happening at Sour House. If you don't know where that is, ask a punk. Um, or one of the bands playing. Tonight at Sour House, a band from Indiana called Summer Brews is going to be coming in. Also, they're going to be playing with Incompleteness Theorem, Beef, and PCP. It's all like local, kind of like screamo and punk music stuff. So that show is going to be happening tonight, which is Thursday. Happening Friday night is there's a lot happening Friday night around this area, honestly. At Vino's, we've got jazz and video game music night, which is going to feature High Ping, the emulators, Katsu, and all kinds of up, which has members of Birds with Teeth. So that's going to be happening at Vino's. At Grandma Lolly's Party Palace, it's going to be Pons, Bulla, and Benadryl, which are all like, it's kind of like a punk house show. If you don't know where Grandma Lolly's is, message them on Facebook. If you want to be transported back to the early 2000s, Wheatus is going to be playing at Sticky's Music Hall at they're going to be playing an acoustic set at Sticky's. And then happening at Whitewater Tavern, Joshua Sante is going to be doing a DJ night. Joshua's a really cool artist and musician. And so he's going to be doing his thing. And then also at Full Moon Records, Sonic Fuzz, Jupiter's Flytrap, Sonder Ponder, and Joshua Cannon are going to be performing. And then Saturday in Cord, Arkansas at the Heathen House, which is a really, really cool venue if you haven't been to. It's like basically like they're trying to do like metal festivals there and stuff, and it's like they're building up this really awesome outdoor stage. And so at the Heathen House this weekend, they've got death metal bands Witch God, Nephilim. There's also going to be Pantheon and Severe Head Wound, local death metal bands. And then Dawn of Ascension from El Dorado is also going to be playing. So that's going to be a cool show. And then happening Saturday night at Vino's is going to be a different kind of party entirely. It's retro modern. It's a new wave dance party that's going to be happening. It's going to be various DJs and stuff there playing music, probably mostly from the 80s and stuff to dance to. And the cool thing is it goes as a benefit to the animal shelters in Judsonia and multiple animal shelters, actually. So there's a lot of going on. If you want to find out, more shows, local, be sure and follow local bands on our, also follow on Instagram, stuff like Vino's and Whitewater and stuff. They're always posting their shows. That's a good way to stay in touch with everything also. Now, a really cool show that got announced this week is going to be happening at the Rev Room on May 23rd. It's going to be Paleface, Victims, Hypertension, and Through Blood, which Paleface sold out Vino's in record time last time they came through last year. So, and then this time they've got the band Victims with them, so that's going to make it an even bigger tour. So this is one that you'll want to get your ticket to soon because it's probably going to sell out. And so, so also it's really cool seeing a big show like this with locals like Hypertension and Through Blood on it, who are, young bands that need all of the eyeballs they can get on them. So, watching them do their thing. And so it's a really cool show that's happening. In addition to all the cool shows that have been being announced and that have been happening, there's also been a lot of cool new music that's been released from our bands around the national state. Some of the releases that came out last week include a new song by Terminal Nation off of their new record. The song is called Written by the Victor, and it features Todd from Nails, which is really cool. They also unveiled their new album cover, which just looks absolutely ridiculously awesome. And so I'm very excited about that. Another band that released a new song is Buckshot Princess. They just dropped a new song called Animal Cannibal. No, it's not a Kesha reference. It's a really, really cool, catchy song. It's very, the lyrics are very dark and like horror-y. And I just absolutely love that band's entire discography. Another album that came out is Enter the Frog Style EP by Threat, which is a cool local straight edge hardcore band. It's got members of various other bands and stuff, and they're members of Second Life and like Chain Snatcher and Hypertension, and yeah, the Threat EP is just absolutely awesome. Another really cool like hardcore EP that came out is Self Implode or Decompose by Mazenko, which is a cool local band featuring like members of Open Casket and stuff. And their EP is absolutely awesome. It's got guest features from Rachel of Threat and also Evan of Morbid Visions. And then another EP that dropped is actually what's called a spring demo by the band Chain Snatcher, which has another cool local like grindcore hardcore band with a bunch of members that are in other cool bands. And then a band. I'm not sure. I believe they're from Cersei called EMS just released a new song called "The Grandfather Clock on the Wall Won't Stop Staring at Me," and it's really really violent, hardcore, like screamo and very old school, like kind of like stuff that came out like when I was in high school, like Fear Before the March of Flames and stuff. It's really really good, honestly. All of these releases are really good. And then one that came out or that was released yesterday, "Where the Light Fades" by Paul Bear. They I got to see them play some new stuff at Mutants of the Monster last year, and again at their show at the Rev Room, and their new album is going to be absolutely incredible. And so yeah, be sure and check out some of these. Also check out the Dead Party playlist. Every Friday they're releasing. There's these bands from they put out a big radar of songs from artists around the state that I may not get to. And Marcus is just a wonderful person, so absolutely check out the Dead Party. Um, Finally, I wanted to talk about a show that I got to go to last week. Unfortunately, my work schedule makes going to shows a little bit difficult, so I just kind of squeeze them in when I can. And thankfully, I was able to go to a show at Vino's last week with Maul, Feticide, and Severe Head Wound. It was put on by the Bangin' and the Rock guys, and they've had Maul come here many times. Specifically, they've played Bangin' and the Rock, and they've played Friday Night Fight Metal and these big cool shows. And so I heard a lot about them, and and a lot of my friends like absolutely love them. So I finally got to check them out, and I was not disappointed. They were Maul was just absolutely like their tone was so brutal, and like it's a really old school old school approach to death metal, and just like it's got a little bit of elements of hardcore in it, but Maul is mostly just gory, old school like death metal, like the kind of music you have to like wear like cargo camo shorts and stuff too. Um, just absolutely so, and then they're such good musicians, and like their frontman Garrett was so enthralling. It was so much fun watching him do his thing. With some bands, and I'm not throwing shots or anything. It's a frontman is a frontman. Garrett was one of these frontmen that truly like he gets it. He understands what his role is as a frontman of a heavy metal band, and he, with every scream and growl and grunt, it just sort of it sucks you in, and it was just really cool. Also, I really enjoyed Defeated Side a lot. They're a band from Indiana. This was their first tour. And it's like I think that like the sixth show on the date. And what's cool about this show is it wasn't part of a tour. It was just two death metal bands who just happened to need a show in Little Rock, and they ended up, getting to play with Severe Head Wound and stuff. And so Feticide was really 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 enjoyable. Their frontman, he was so funny. He was so nice at the merch table, and then you actually watch them, and he's just like a snarling monster. And the music was really cool. It was reminded me a little bit of like Sanguine Sugar Bog, that type of death metal. Lots of like cool squealies and stuff like that I tried to do on guitar and can't figure out. Um, and then Severe Head Wound, I hadn't seen those guys in so long. And so it was really, really, really good to get to see them. Baker's got a new bass that just looks absolutely amazing that I want to steal from him, but don't tell him I said that. And it's just, it was really fun. I'll say this. It's really, really, really cool living in a place like Little Rock, Arkansas, where you could just go see a death metal show on your off night on a random Wednesday, and it'd just be absolutely packed. I think that's one of the things that I love about this place. Random Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, hardcore, death metal, grindcore bands come in and just played absolutely packed rooms. It's really cool, and I think it's makes sense why bigger bands like Obituary and Drain are coming through here, because there's a crowd that's just hungry for it, and I'm so grateful that I get to watch this resurgence, in this scene. It's been absolutely beautiful, and I know it's just going to continue. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of the Ringo Report. Next week, we'll have more show announcements, more music, and lots more to talk about. Go follow me on Instagram and Facebook at the Ringo Report. I've been posting interviews every day. Actually, I got to post Paul Bearer yesterday. We've got some other cool ones coming up that I'm going to be dropping that I'm very excited about. So follow me on there. And again, thank you so much for watching. Also, be sure and check out this week's Crashcast episode featuring Fred. Speaking of Baker, that's actually one of my one of the first Baker bands I got to see was Fred, and they're absolutely killer. So be sure and check out their episode of Crashcast. Again, thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.